Yo, 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 yo. Welcome back to my channel. On yeah, today I'm gonna do sort of like my opinion on Eminem, and I don't know what I'm gonna title this, but one thing's for sure. I think what I'm about to say is so true, and I feel like people don't wanna accept it, and they won't accept it, which pisses me off. But before I start, I want to give a shout out to one of my favorite YouTubers and one of my favorite reacting channels that I watch a lot, and his name is Stevie Knights. I'm a big fan of him, man. I've been watching him for a little while now and stuff like that. Literally, so yeah. I like his contact, and shit like that. Sorry, I'm tired as fuck, but I like what he does in his videos, and yeah, I like how he's not biased about anything. He's legit real with his opinions and thoughts. He's not scared to say what he feels. So yeah, shout out to him, man. Thank you for doing that, man, cuz not a lot of real ones are on this platform anymore. So yeah, today today we're going to talk about something that I feel like it's been talked about before, but I feel like it's not been talked about enough, and that's about Eminem and about how he's actually more relatable than people think. Now I know what you're thinking. Yes, we know he's from the hood, all this and all that. It's not just that he's from the hood and all that. It's the fact that he legit went through stuff that a lot of us minorities, black and brown men, go through, especially the ones from the hood. And I feel like a lot of people don't want to accept that because he's a white guy. Like, and it's just facts. Let's be honest. We can all sit here and say, "Oh, he's only the greatest of all time because he's white." The reality is, you can say that, but you can't deny the fact that the reason because he's white is white people won't say he's number one. Let's be honest. But yeah, today I'm gonna talk about like how he's actually relatable, because if you know Benzino and all these other Eminem haters, they all love to say that Eminem's not relatable, that he had a silver spoon coming into this game, which is not true, and it just bothers me as an Eminem fan and as a person that can relate to him. It bothers me because I know for a fact if M was brown or black, 100%, bro, he would have been the most relatable one, the most realest one. But because he's white, no one wants to accept it. No one wants to talk about it. All right, so let's start off with like this. Hopefully, I'm gonna edit like the image here, so hopefully you can see it. I'm gonna edit a specific image where it's gonna be M50, OB Trice, D12, G Unit, like members like that in the screen. And I want you to understand when you look at this photo, in a way, it kind of sums up what I'm trying to say here. Is like, bro, look at him, bro. Look who he's around. Look who he surrounds himself with. And the reason is that because that's all he knew his whole life. Like, let me tell you something. Growing up, man, mostly had black friends because I was raised around black people my whole life. The only Latino people and Puerto Rican people I knew was my family, and half of them were black. You feel me? So it's like all my life I was around black people. If you know M, yeah, he moved a lot, but he was always in Detroit, and Detroit is mainly a black neighborhood. Basically, you'll see in Detroit. So my thing is like, when people say he's not relatable with all the stuff he went through, you understand like he went through so much shit that a lot of black, Latinos, and minorities go through. Like, for example, here's a good example. He actually got evicted one time. And if you know anything about being evicted or having to move out because you couldn't afford like bills and shit in the house, you know that's one of the toughest thing you can ever fucking do. Like, he even said it, like they threw his stuff in front of the lawn. He had to break in the house just to sleep in it and stuff like that. And a lot of people don't, I guess, don't want to talk about that part, or whatever. And I feel like we should, because it's like, bro, that's one of the things a lot of us minorities go through in the hood is getting evicted or getting week 2 weeks notice, a week's notice to move out or something like, or having to move. And Eminem had to move a lot during his childhood, and he had to he like break in houses just to sleep. Like that's crazy to think, bro. And also, it's like it's this thing where it's like you gotta also understand, like he also didn't have a good relationship with his parents. Now, let's not sugarcoat shit. Let's just keep it real. When you're from the hood, there's a good chance you don't know who your dad is, and you don't have a good relationship with your mom. It sucks to say it, but that's just facts. That's just facts. It is what it is. It's like that. I should know. That was me. I didn't know who my dad was for a while, for a very long time, and I did not have a good relationship with my mom. And M had that same, I guess, um, upbringing where he didn't have a good relationship with the one parent that stayed, and the other parent he never met. Now, if you look at M, man, that is the most relatable thing you can relate to any minority from the hood from. I don't care what no one says. The thing is, man, a lot of us black and brown men, African Americans, Latinos, or whatever you want to call it, we don't know who our dad are, or we do know who he are when he's not in our lives, or our mom's is in our lives, but she's not really there, or we don't know who she is either. And I'm going through that is one of those things where it's like, yo, that's relatable as hell to anybody. Like, especially if you're from the hood. You know what I mean? Like, cause let's be honest, how many stories you hear about like young minorities in the hood talking about some I don't know who my dad is. Me and my mom really don't have that good connection. Da 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 da. All that. And I feel like, bro, that's M's story. This white boy right here, he went through this thing that you hear a bunch of minorities talk about on a daily basis. And I don't know, it's just crazy, man. And him going through that and striving for that and actually using that in his songs felt like a sort of comfort for me. So you should really listen to what he's saying, like, bro. Like, most people to be like, oh, I don't relate to the whole killing my mom and all this shit. You might not relate to killing your mom, but take the whole I want to kill my mom and replace it with I want to hate my mom. I bet you that's relatable. Like, shit. See, I feel like people be like, oh, I don't talk about killing my mom. I don't talk about killing my girl. I don't talk about doing drugs. And it's like, that's like cap right there. Because it's like, if you're from the hood, man, you got a bunch of junkies on the street. Like, especially the one I'm from. Like, every day I walk, there's always some fucking high ass person. And you can tell they're not high off of weed or anything. They're high off of some real hardcore drug shit. Alright? And as far as I know, like, bro, when I got pissed off and I didn't have a good relationship with my parents, I hated them for sure. I said shit. And a lot of people feel like, oh, don't talk about killing my mom and shit. But it's like, that's just his way of expressing how he's hurt, how he feels because of all the neglect and abuse he went through as a freaking kid. Come on now. Like, shoot. He's relatable to that. And when you can't say that that's not relatable, especially like minorities from the hood. That's the most relatable thing you can think of, like real shit. Um, like if that's one of I think that could be top five most relatable thing you can relate to a minority is having that type of relationship with your parents, where you either don't know one of them and the other one stayed but still didn't do nothing, or literally have this whole freaking like toxic ass relationship with them. You feel me? And Eminem relates to that for 100%. Another thing that I feel like people should touch on about Eminem is that what makes him also relatable is he got bullied because of the color of his skin. Now, everybody always likes to hear the story of how a black kid got bullied of the color of his skin, a Latino kid got bullied of the color of the skin, all that. Bro, let's be honest. Eminem got bullied because of the color of his skin, and y'all don't really talk about that because he's a white guy, so he's gonna be fine. Here's the thing, man. I remember when I was very younger, I got bullied a lot, and I remember it was at this point where I was trying to figure out who I was, what I liked, going that route. I remember like some Puerto Ricans would look at me and be like, "Bro, you're so brown," and I'm like, "Okay," and they're like, "Are you even Puerto Rican? What you mix with?" Like most people assume I mix with something else, or they think I'm some other like Latino from another Latino country that has like mix and stuff like that. And when I was younger, that bothered me. Now it's like, who gives a fuck? It's nothing new. But it's like that's crazy to think like someone be like, oh, you're not Puerto Rican, you're not real Puerto Rican because you're brown and shit. And it's like Puerto Ricans, we come in all different shapes, size, and color. It's facts. We come light, dark, brown, like you name it. And going through that was when I was very young though. Like I was young as hell. Like I want to say elementary school. Like yeah, I went through that, and a lot of black kids they go through that, being bullied with them being black, especially dark skin and stuff like that, and saying oh you too dark, or making dumb jokes like oh don't turn off the light because we're gonna lose you. Which I feel like some people laugh at that joke, and that's only if it's like friends, like because me and my friends we make jokes like that to each other, and we laugh because we're friends. But like the people that say that, some people say that shit, and they want to hurt your feelings like that, and that's really fucked up. M went through that as a white guy, being probably the only white guy in a black neighborhood. I can't imagine the shit he gone through. Like shoot, like getting bullied, getting jumped, and all that. Like he even says in his songs, like a bully bullied him and stuff like that. They looked at him as this punked white boy. Even when he was an adult, he got. In my opinion, I don't know if we could consider this bully, but I guess I can. I'm gonna add it. Let me know if you think this is bullying, or maybe not bullying, more like hating because of the skin of your color. But like even M said it when he was an adult trying to make it in his 20s. People booed him because he was white. That's discrimination right there. You're hating on a dude who's trying to make it because what? He's white and he's nice. Like what? So when you look at M, man, he's relatable with that thing because like a lot of people don't want to admit. As much as we all want to sit here and talk about some like, oh my god, I hate this music industry, I hate this entertainment industry, they hate every black and Latino, Asian, and every minority that's trying to make it, but yet a lot of us minorities don't like Eminem because of the color of his skin. Y'all doing to Eminem what y'all doing to Eminem. Y'all mad that white people are doing it to y'all, racist white people. Like that's crazy to think, right? So when you look at M, man, he's relatable with the whole race thing because like he got punked and bullied because he was a white boy. Like honestly, I won't be surprised if this like because I know he doesn't. I don't necessarily think he ever talked about this, but I wouldn't be surprised if M got and bullied by white kids, not by white kids for having black friends. I would not be surprised by that, honestly, because if you look at his story, man, it looks like he was only hanging around black people his whole life. Like I know there's a couple videos where he was hanging out with a couple white boys, but like for the majority, it looked like he had black friends all his life. You know what I mean? But relates to the whole getting judged because of the color of your skin, and that's also top there with the most relatable thing you can relate to a minority with, and that's just facts. There's no debate about it. That's just facts. Like us minorities, we go through shit every day just because of the way we look. But M went through that same thing. It's crazy, man. It's crazy to think that. No one wants to admit that, but shoot. Another thing, when you look at M, man, this is like a big one for me because it's like I hate how everybody says, "Oh, M was just doing there, then he made it, and then he got everything planned out for him, and that's how he's the biggest star in the world." That's fucking cap. If you know, if you actually did your research and you actually paid attention, you will know this dude struggle. We can easily talk about how, oh, he got a little, the Slim Shady EP, Dr. Dre got his hands on it, and then da 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 da, signed him, da da da. We can talk about that. But let's keep it about. We all know there was crazy stuff that happened to him. Back to getting the, as a matter of fact, it was when the first thing I think I said the first thing was he got evicted. It was one of the first thing I said in the beginning. Bro, it was around that same time period he had to do Rap Olympics. If you remember the Rap Olympics, someone made the Rap Olympics just for Eminem, which tells you how talented he was. And just keep this in mind, he wasn't Eminem, the biggest star. He wasn't Slim Shady. He wasn't nothing like the most controversial man, Mr. Controversy. He was nothing. He was just a regular dude trying to make it. So the fact that someone legit said, "Hey, I made this just for him," bro, and then to go on and to beat everybody and beat everybody until the finals where he lost and came in second place. That must have devastated him. He was hurt, and then of course that's where the Slim Shady EP came out, and he gave it to some dude that worked with, I think, Dre or Jimmy Iovine at the time and stuff. But even before that, M went through this thing where he invested his whole money he had left on one album called Infinite. Now, if you know, everybody likes to say Slim Shady LP is the first studio album, and it is technically, but at the same time, you gotta remember he had another studio album before he met Dre called Infinite, where he put all the money for. And if I remember correctly, he only sold 500 copies, I think it was around there, like not even 1,000. So that's crazy to think. And man, it was crazy because it's like artists, like most artists, they try so hard to make it and they don't, and for years they don't flop, they don't get numbers, they don't do this, they don't do that. And M went through that, like putting his whole net worth that he had into one album. That's crazy. And he tried to bet on himself, and at the time it didn't look like it was a good idea, especially how it turned out with what, 500 copies. And that's also a relatable thing, man. Like, you invest in yourself and it doesn't pay off, that's a relatable thing. That's just so freaking relatable. Like, if I had like $1 for every time I knew one of my black friends or one of my freaking minority friends or anybody I know that's a minority, including me, invested in themselves and lost money and then gained nothing but a what, less than $500. Shit, it's crazy, man. M invested in himself and it felt like it was a dumb decision. Probably he felt dumb about it. He probably didn't regret it, but at the same time, he probably felt like, damn, I gotta take care of my kid. I gotta do this. I gotta do that. And that's just crazy, man. And that brings me to this next part about this video is he couldn't afford a lot of gifts for his kids during holidays. Now, if you're from the hood, obviously, well, not obviously, I don't know who's watching this, but I am. You would know there. You were lucky if you had decent stuff for Christmas. Man, the I had pretty decent Christmas. I can think of 2 or 3 Christmases as a kid that I say I had the best. But nothing than that. There's times where it's like it just felt like, damn, we're that broke, huh? We can't even afford this. We can't afford that. Like I remember we were so broke. We had to end up buying like Dollar Tree toys or some shit like that. So, and there was a point where M says in Mockingbird that his girl at the time, Kim, put his name on the gift to say it was from him, but it really wasn't. He couldn't afford it. He felt so sad. Not able to afford to make your kids happy and buy the kids what they need and they want. That is definitely relatable when it comes to minorities. And when you look at that, man, it's really sad when you think about it because like parents try their hardest with it. At least some do. Some try their hardest to do that. They tried so hard, they bust their ass, and they just can't do it. And they beat themselves up all the time for it. They always do that, and it's crazy that they do that because it's like, man, like you just the amount of stories you will hear about minorities not able to afford gifts for their kids or anything is crazy. And M going through that, like, Like M going through not having stuff as a kid, being in the hood to trying to afford things and not able to afford for his own kids is crazy. That's relatable too. Oh, ooh, sorry. Another thing that's relatable about M is him literally. How can I put this? I guess like getting his heart broken. I think that's relatable because a lot of us, a lot of people from like the black community, the Latino community, don't talk about this much. But when you're from the black community or Latino community, you most likely have that one toxic ass relationship that it should be over, but it's not. And man, M had that for sure. Like it was so toxic that relationship. Like if you know the stories, man, like Eminem ended up pulling a gun out on a dude at one point because she was cheating on him or some shit like that. And that's Eminem, the white boy, right? He ended up doing shit that like you see in the neighborhood. Like, bro, you know how many times I hear like dudes talking about I'm gonna shoot whoever you sleeping with, I'm gonna beat up, I'm gonna kill whoever you sleeping with or who you cheat on me with. M almost did that shit for real with the whole gun and everything. Like he had a whole lawsuit on him because of that. So that's another thing relatable, man. Being in that toxic relationship, man, that's relatable. That's very relatable, especially to the hood and shit like that. Because that's all you see here, honestly. That's all you see in the hood, like some fucking toxic ass shit. Like honestly, so if you can't afford a TV, go outside, go up the block, and then you'll see two toxic ass couples, freaking arguing, threatening each other and shit, and then trying to act like they still love each other and shit, man. Um, that's another thing. And losing his best friend, Proof. Now that's relatable. It's like anybody can relate to that, and no matter where you're from, what color you are, what country you are, losing your best friend is the most relatable thing in the world. Not just in the hood, but in the whole wide world. But like getting your friend getting killed and shot for no reason, that's really relatable to like a lot of people in the hood. Like I remember not too long ago, like I'm not gonna say her name, but like a friend of mine who I knew she was more my sister's friend, but she I always hanged around my sister and her friends. She got shot not too long, and I guess she was at the wrong place, the wrong time. And then actually a couple of my people I knew from like middle school and stuff, a lot of them are dead because they were at the wrong place, the wrong time. Which that's crazy to think. And some of them even dead because of a little argument or a little different shit. And if I remember correctly, I think Proof he got shot in a nightclub. I think it was, and it was crazy. But it was like some argument or some shit. But yeah, it's like losing your best friend is relatable, man. Because it's like you go through this thing of like you go through these different emotions of I can't believe this is happening. You go through this motion of you don't want to accept it, so you pretend that he's alive, but like y'all just not speaking right now because y'all away. And you also go through the stage of you blame yourself even though it's not your fault. You know what I mean? And that's a crazy thing, man. Like I know when M went through that, it was during that period he stopped rapping for like 4 years, and everybody's basically said, "Oh, he's retired." But yeah, that was definitely something that you can relate to, losing your best friend that you knew since you were in school is like the craziest thing ever. Because it's like you knew that dude your whole life. Now he's gone. That's relatable. And you can't deny that part. I don't care what anybody says. Losing your best friend, man, and hearing that he got shot and killed or something stupid, bro. Like I had that phone call. I had that message before. So it's really crazy to think that that can easily just happen to anybody. Yeah, and this goes to the next part. When Proof died, he basically like he stepped up for Proof's son. Um, I know his son. Proof has a son who's an artist. I actually listened to him. I forget his name, but he's a very good artist. I I listen to him whenever he drops, and he's dope. Now, one thing about M, I think this is what makes him relatable too. He's there for like his dead homie's son. Like, bro, let's be honest. You know how many times some dude dies and then that dude's friend ends up like making sure the kid is good and was well taken care of him, make sure he's doing good and stuff like that. Make sure he's looking out for him. Bro, M is doing that with Proof's son. Like, there's videos about them hanging out too, which is so cool. And it's like, bro, that's relatable. Like, when M basically spending time with Proof's son, that's dope as hell. Like, which is crazy because it's like, how can you put it? Like, that can kind of like mentally break you because it's like, damn, he's gone. Now the son is still alive. I can see him. Like, I see when I see his son, I think of him type shit. So when M spending time with the kid and stuff like that, that's kind of cool, bro. Like, and that just tells you, man, like he's a real one for that. That's loyalty right there. Which that's also a relatable thing. Being loyal to your peers and stuff like that. That's so freaking relatable, and that's just facts. And you can't deny that either. You just can't. And another thing that makes M relatable, I feel like this you don't see this a lot anymore, but definitely at one point this is the most relatable thing to any minority community is he went back for his day ones. Let me tell you, man, not a lot of people are loyal to each other. Like, it be your own boys that be exposing you, setting you up, robbing you and shit like that nowadays. It really be. But M, he did the most realest thing when he blew up. He could have easily forgot about everybody. But man, he said, "Nah, I'm gonna start my own record label and I'm gonna sign my own friends." Bro, taking care of the ones that took care of you, bro. That's some relatable ass shit. That's some hood shit right there. Because bro, a lot of people they like no doubt about it. I just said it. Like nowadays, you hear more stories about your own family members killing you, your own friends killing you for stupid shit, or setting you up, or jumping you, or exposing you. M could have easily just said, "Fuck them guys. I'm Eminem. I'm with Dr. Dre." He said, "Nah, I'm gonna start a record label and I'm gonna sign D12." And keep in mind, he even said this in the interview of 15 years of Shady Records. He even said it that, well, Paul said it, that there were some people that didn't even want him to do that because he was too big. They felt like he was too big to go do some record label and sign companies, and M still did it. So that's crazy to think, man. Like there's people that said, "Oh, don't do that, don't do that," and then M's like, I'm gonna go help out the guys that put me on in Detroit, and I'm gonna put them on in the whole wide world, which he did, 100%. That's loyalty right there. He was loyal to the black guys that basically protected him. Like any other, we easily can hear a story about a white guy who had black friends and said, "All right, fuck y'all." M didn't say M. He said, "Yo, I got this bag. Y'all gonna come get this bag with me." And another thing that a lot of people keep forgetting when he signed them is there was another member. I don't remember his name, but there was another member there. He was one of the original members of 12. Right before they started to work, he got shot in Detroit, like shot in the head, I think it was. Now, it was right before, it was years before Proof died. So when M found out that his friend died, M felt like he had to take a bigger responsibility where it's not going to be enough for him to sign them and promote them. Now, that's how he ended up being like, "Hey, yo, can I take his place to make sure we're all good and like pay homage to him and stuff like that?" And like even D12 said it, "Bro, you're the seventh member. You've always been the seventh member. Come on." And then them saying like, "Bro, like what is you talking about? You're seventh member," and then M going there, and then M using his popularity, because like let's be honest, Eminem will always be popular and well known, but we all know if we had to pick when was his peak, if which in my opinion M never lost his peak. That's just my personal opinion. But if general speaking, when did he had his biggest peak was in the 2000s, and him saying, "All right, you know what? I'm gonna join. I'm gonna freaking write rhymes. I'm gonna be in the music videos. I'm gonna be in the songs. I'm gonna make us go on tour." I'm like, yo, that's like relatable. Like just helping out your friends is relatable as hell. And just imagining just you grow up, because like what's relatable about that is when you're young, you have a group of friends where you're just like, yo, we gonna make it. We all gonna eat good. We all gonna get the bag. We all gonna be rich and famous, bro. M, not only did he do that, he ended up not only did he end up talking about, oh, we're gonna make it, but he actually made it and took them along the ride. Like he didn't have to do that. He didn't, but he did because that's loyalty. And when trains going by, I don't know if y'all can hear it. Hopefully not, um, but yeah, man, M going through that is crazy. Like losing his friends, so now he feels like he has a bigger responsibility, and it worked out for D12. They ended up being what, the second most selling act in hip hop in that year, or music. I just saw the post about it a few days ago. And of course, we can all talk about, oh, D12's really not that good or stuff like that. But the reality is, M used his popularity and his star power to elevate D12, where most guys don't even do that. Most black guys, most Latino guys don't do that. Like, how many times we hear the story of like how like how Fat Joe right after Big Pun died didn't do nothing for the family, didn't help him. Like, cause if you know, Big Pun has a son who raps, and they don't see eye to eye because apparently Fat Joe stole money and stuff, or didn't pay them what they owe or something like that. And he, you don't see Fat Joe trying to put him on. You don't see him trying to do that. Or even like most big artists, like who's a good example? Like Jay-Z. Yeah, he signed Kanye. Yeah, he signed Rihanna. But then after that, who the hell he signed? As a matter of fact, he went through more controversy. He said he's gonna win the whole Connor Connor Kaepernick situation. You know, we all remember the whole sitting down during the national anthem, taking a knee or putting your fist up, getting kicked out of the NFL for that, and then he's being one of those celebrities like, oh, I stand by him, you know, and then what? Not too long after you sign a contract with the NFL, it's like, really, bro? You signed a contract with the dude? Where's the loyalty at? Which I felt like he didn't owe him loyalty because it's not like he was friends with him or anything like that. But Jay makes this whole thing about how black people got to stick together, but yet he's the first one to do that, bro. Which that's crazy to me. But M, man, he's so loyal to the ones that helped him that he ended up helping them more than they could. The more probably more than they helped him when they were in Detroit. He made them. They helped him be known in Detroit. Eminem helped him be known around the world. He said, "Yeah, I owe y'all this." Bada bada bada. He took them around the world and toured, and that's some relatable shit right there. Like, do you know how many times I still talk to guys from sixth grade, and we still talk about, yo, we're gonna make it one day. We're gonna eat good and stuff like that. And yeah, M doing that, that's some real shit. You can't deny that. That makes him relatable because that's all you want to do as a kid. You just want to get the bag with your day ones. You just want to be there. You just want to make it out the hood with your day ones, you know? And that's just straight facts, man. And another thing about M that I feel like makes him really relatable is this isn't really more of a personal thing or thing. It's more like the way he acts, in a way, like the way he like still talks, the way he still acts. Like if you see some Eminem interviews, bro, this dude literally still which I find this funny. He still likes to go to fast food restaurants, and he still likes to get like, oh, I get a free refill from the Coke and stuff like that. And it doesn't come off as like, damn, you just cheap as hell. Now it comes off as like, damn, he's just really a regular ass dude. Because like the thing with most artists, they say they're so relatable, they be the most unrelatable motherfuckers ever. Like they be saying the dumbest shit. They be like, "Oh man, you know how hard it is, like getting a new paint job, buying a new house, doing this." It's like, yo, we don't relate to that. We don't relate to buying a new house. We don't relate to some paint job on a car or something like that. Yeah, you look at, he's like, oh, I just get like, I remember when he did years ago, he did an interview, and this is already big star Eminem. It was during, I think, his recovery era. He did a interview with 60 Minutes, and He even said, "Do I get a free refill?" and stuff like that. I think they were in Burger King or Taco Bell, and that was just funny. I found I'm like, yeah, that's relatable as hell. Like, bro, you still want to have a free refill? You still eat fast food? That's dope. But yeah, no, and that's really relatable because it's like that's all we ever do. Like, you remember when you had like I don't know about y'all, but like when you barely have money and you're like, oh, let me get one little um small cup of soda, and then you get free refills, and then you're just there getting free refill until you can't anymore. I guess, shoot, which I found that was a little funny. And another thing about M that makes him relatable, man, is just the fact that he doesn't forget where he's from. Like I feel like most rappers, man, they make it out the hood, they don't look back, and that's understandable. But some don't look back, but then there's some that they don't look back and then they forget where they're from. They forget who they are. They act completely different. Like like who's a good example? Like Jay, Kanye, and all these guys. Well, I don't know if Kanye is from. Is Kanye from what? New York? Was he from? I can't. I don't remember where Kanye's from, but I know Jay was from New York, and at one point Jay was relatable. Like I'm pretty sure he started his record label off of like what selling drugs. I heard or something like that. I know he sold drugs to just make ends meet. I know that, but like, man, Jay used to be relatable. Now when you look at Jay Z, he doesn't talk about nothing. All he talks about is like, oh, like black excellence, or he's in the Grammys bitching about his freaking wife not winning a damn album of the year Grammy, even though she has more Grammys than anybody dead and alive. Which, bro, what? Really? You're bitching about that? And yet you got M here who still does like these, like, because a lot of people don't know this. M does like charity events for Detroit. Now, a lot of people don't know that because M doesn't also like, he doesn't like to do that whole, oh, look at me, I'm doing this charity work, like it, like type shit. Like, he legit tries to do his best to keep it hidden. Like, and I know it's for like schools and stuff like that. So that's pretty dope. Like, the fact that he doesn't forget where he's from, and like, he's just there, like, just trying to raise money for them and do charity events for them, for the kids, because he knows they're probably going through the same thing he did. He is, because he was from Detroit. He was from the hood. He's seen shit growing up. So that's crazy. And another thing, like, I want to talk about this one thing that I felt like showed Eminem didn't forget where he's from, is which this makes him like, and this I feel like what makes this relatable about him not forgetting he's from is it tells you about his character. It tells you about how he carries himself as a person. Like, most guys I know, like, they don't live like necessarily where I live anymore. They don't live like right here in the hood, but they live like a little bit nicer place, more safer place. But they still come here to visit and stuff like that, and they still talk to people like that they knew as kids. Even then, they don't treat like they're better than them. This one thing that M did that I felt like the reason really was dope was this was after, I'm pretty sure this was during the Slim Shady or Marshall Mathers LP era, where he was in Detroit just walking, just trying to show where he was, and like a bunch of little kids came up to him, and he was basically telling them, yo, I used to live right where you guys are living right now. He even gave them autographs and stuff. So I felt like that's pretty dope. Like, not forgetting where you're from, and just being accepted by the people, and just letting yourself be well known and stuff like that. That's pretty cool, man. Because, man, like I said, like, I have people that I know that no longer live in the area that I live. They live in better places, and they still come here, and they still, they still remember who they are. They still remember where it all started. So that's pretty cool, man. But yeah, M M is relatable. Like, I can't think of a artist that it's more. There's probably are more artists that are relatable, but me personally, I I relate a lot to M, and I feel like a lot of people do, but they're too scared to say, "Oh, I relate to M," because the first thing you say when that, people gonna be like, "You agree with what? Doing weird drugs, killing your girl in the back of a trunk in a song, and all that shit?" And it's like, that's just a song. That's just one way of him expressing himself. Like, if you actually sit down, you take the time to do the research, you listen to him. He's relatable. There's a reason why people always makes the joke. Yo, imagine if Eminem was white, or yo, Eminem is actually black, because he went through things that a lot of black people went through. That a lot of black people from the hood went through. That a lot of Latino people from the hood went through. You know what I mean? M really went through this whole thing of just trying to be, just trying to get out and make it, and making sure his day ones are there. Like M is relatable, and every time I hear like Banzino talk about, oh, he's just a white boy, to you talking about white boy shit, it's like, bro, it's like I feel like those motherfuckers only say that it's because like they know M is relatable. They know M put in the work. They know M went through shit that they went through. Like Benzino always likes to talk about, oh, I had to sell drugs, I had to do this, I had to do that, and the other Eminem haters say the same thing. But it's like, bro, he might have not sold drugs, he might not have been hustling, but guess what? Well, to me, you don't have to sell drugs to be a hustler, because just getting the money is a hustle, and that's just me. But M did everything he could. He went through these struggles, and the things I named, some of the things that I named are the most relatable thing any minority from the hood can think of. That's just straight facts. Like, you can't deny it. You listen. I'm not saying you have to be like, oh, he's like, he's this greatest of all time. I'm not saying anything like that. I'm not saying you have to accept the fact that he is the greatest of all time. I'm saying that y'all need to stop acting like he's not this relatable guy who went through this shit that we all went through. Like, bro, say what you want about Eminem, man. In the end of the day, man, he went through racial shit. He got judged because of the skin of his color. He got judged because of his dreams. He got punked and bullied. He lost his loved ones. He seen his friends die. He had to go bury his own fucking friends. They were basically like a brother to him. Like, he went through all this shit that a lot of us minorities, especially today, talk about, not trying talk about going through. M went through all of that. And bro, I just it just pisses me off when I see motherfuckers talk about it, cuz it's like, bro, y'all keep saying this, he's just a white boy going through white boy shit. That's not true, man. This dude's going through shit that other motherfuckers are going through, bro. He really is. He really is one of us. He's one of us. He's one of us minorities, because say what you want, like, obviously he's a white boy, but in the end of the day, he can be the white, he can be white as a fucking ghost. M's story is hands down one of the most relatable stories ever. Like, his story, like, you can, I don't care what you gotta say. If you went through anything remotely close, you can relate to M. I'm not saying you can, you know, you need to fuck with Eminem, and I'm not saying that. But the fact that you're gonna sit there and act like this dude's just a white guy, had a decent life, like, bro, no funny shit. This can be a little controversial, but like, Eminem is more relatable than Beyonce. See, most people, they'll assume when you put Beyonce and Eminem next to each other, you're gonna assume, and unless they no one knows their backstory, I guarantee everybody's gonna pick Beyonce. Why? Because she's a minority, she's a woman. So people are gonna assume, oh, she's from the hood. She don't say she ain't from the hood. She's from Texas, Houston. Now I know there's got to be some hood there in Texas, that's for sure. But even she said it, like, she grew up with money. She had, like, I'm pretty sure she was middle class or upper middle class and stuff like that. It was around, yeah, because her, like, family had good jobs and everything. And man, he didn't even know who his dad was. And the dude, the mom put what, had pills all over the house where he easily found them. Come on, man. Like, M is relatable than most of these artists that try to be relatable, and it pisses me off because it's like, bro, y'all look at this white boy and y'all be like, there's nothing relatable about him. He ain't down with the culture. He ain't went through this. He ain't went through that, and he did went through all this shit. He dealt with guns. He dealt with bullying. He thought about killing somebody. He thought about turning a life where it could have easily got him in prison. He had to bury his loved ones, his day ones. He took care of them, that when the ones they still were around. When you got a lot of these, like, artists that, like, because nowadays when rappers come out, bro, they talk about they're from the hood, they're from the street, they went through this. They end up living middle class lives. They had to have mom and dads to love them. And not only just rappers, even NBA players. Like a lot of NBA players will be like, "Yo, I don't play that shit. You know, I'm the best baller. La da 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 da. I'm from the hood. I never had shit, motherfucker. You literally live in the suburbs, and that's facts. Like, and it's crazy because a lot of y'all motherfucker will support artists that lie about their background, and you can tell they lie about it. And then when they get exposed, you being shocked. But then y'all won't support a guy that, bro, went through so much shit that almost anybody can relate to it. Man, I don't know, man. I just feel like we need to stop acting like M isn't this guy. Every time someone talks about M, they just say, "Oh, he's a white guy. He don't go through shit what black people go through. He don't go through shit Latinos go through." But he really did. Even when it comes to the racial, he got bullied because of the color of his skin. That's literally the main thing black people and Latino people get get bullied or get teased or get discriminated against. You know how many like everybody sees a black person, they think they're a gangster, they think they're a thug, they think they're a scammer, they think they're a hustler or whatever. You think of a Latino, they think, oh, they're rapists or they're also drug dealers or some shit like that. Bro, he's a white boy, so what did they think? Oh, little fucking white boy, culture vulture and shit. He ain't no culture vulture. He's a part of the culture, whether you like it or not. And a lot of y'all haters are gonna say, "Oh, yo, M is not relatable," but yeah, y'all gonna be the first one to be like, "Damn, he was the greatest of all time. Oh, he was relatable." When the news comes, Eminem is done. He's dead. He's out of this world. Which I hope that doesn't happen anytime soon, because that would break my damn heart. But we all know the day that happens, that's when everybody and even Benzino's weird ass. There's gonna be a point where I will see Benzino be like, Benzino and Ja Rule and Machine Gun Kelly be like, man, he was really the greatest of all time. He was down with us. He was really one of us. Da 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 da. And you can just tell that's gonna happen, man. And I don't know, it just pissed me off. Say what you want about him. He's relatable. And I felt like I had to make this video because I feel like people talk about it, but they don't talk about it enough, bro. M went through shit that we went through. And guess what? It wasn't because he was white that he got out the hood. It wasn't because of none of that. Like, keep in mind, when D12 first heard him, they thought he was black. And then when right before Dre signed him, he thought he was black. Everybody thought him was black. No one thought him was white. So for a lot of people to be like, oh, he's just a white boy. Of course he made it. Yo, guess what? Dr. Dre, the dude that basically made him famous, didn't even know he was white until he had to see him face to face. Listen, man, say what you want, man. Emma's relatable. And you personally may not relate to him, but like a good portion of the black community, a good portion of the Latino community, and anybody from the hood can relate to him. It's straight facts. He went through shit that like we tried our best not to think about. So man, listen, that's all I have to say, man. M is relatable. Um, and yeah, I don't know when this is gonna come up. But yeah, I wanna give a again. I know in the beginning I said this, but I want to give a shout out to Stevie Knight, man, cause cause if you know Stevie Knight, he's one of my favorites, and he he even said it like I liked how like he even said that M is down with us, that is in the culture. That's not exactly what he said, but like he's basically saying that like he basically knows about M. And like, there's even like I remember I used to watch him back when he really wasn't fucking with Eminem like that. Now he's fucking with Eminem a lot, and it doesn't feel like it's one of those YouTubers where it's like, oh, let me just pretend like I like Eminem just to get the views. Like no, even like the last thing with Doomsday 2, he said like I think he said something about like he critiqued it, and of course people got mad at him. But it's like, yo, I honestly like that he critiqued it because at least he's showing that even though he fucks with them now, he's still not gonna be being like, oh, he's the greatest. Oh, this was dope. Oh, this was dope. Oh, this was dope. But bro, in the end of the day, man, guys like Stevie Knight, I respect him because he's not scared to say how it is. Like, actually, no funny shit. I'm not even just saying this. Stevie Knight is one of the reasons why I decided to make this video. Because I've been watching him for like a good 2 or 3 years now. Like what, 2 years? I think I want to say. Yeah. So, yeah, nah, man. Yeah, thank you, Stevie Knight, man. You inspired this video actually. No funny shit. And yeah. I don't know, man. I just feel like M is relatable, and we all need to start recognizing that he is down with us. And yeah, man. That's pretty much it for the video, man. Maybe I do plan on doing another video about how M is the most loyal one in hip hop, which that's definitely gonna happen. 100% that's gonna happen. And yeah, but yeah, we'll see you in the next one. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on notifications. And yeah, see you in the next one. And man, Ricky out, man.